Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Breaker, and in this video I want to finally also give my first impressions on the Battlefield 4 beta. Now unfortunately I was pretty busy this week, so I couldn't really play the game for as long as I wanted to play it, but I think I played it for long enough to give you a valid opinion on how the game feels, on what you have to do to make it play good, and what's good and what's bad. So when I first jumped into the Battlefield 4 beta, I was kind of disappointed actually, and I thought that the game didn't run too good, and I had lag spikes, and the sensitivity felt weird, and the quality of the textures was just kind of muddy, and yeah, I wasn't quite impressed at all, and I thought, oh my god, it looks shitty, I don't like this game. But of course, as always with a new game, you have to kind of first set everything up and kind of go into the settings of the game and tweak things before you can actually enjoy the game. So before I'm going to give my first impressions, I want to tell you how to get Battlefield 4 running that you can actually enjoy it. Now, of course, the first thing that you've got to do is, if you've got an NVIDIA video card, you have to update your drivers to the new 311 beta drivers. You're gonna have to do this. If you don't do this, you're gonna have a lot of lag spikes, you're gonna have bad performance, and just overall not a nice experience. So definitely go ahead and update your drivers. Now the next thing, of course, is going to be I'm playing Battlefield 4 at all the settings at very low. So I'm playing at 1080p, however everything is on low or disabled. Sampling rate is about 95% because I don't really like how the sampling rate is going to make everything blurry and muddy. But other than that, the quality settings I have all on low. Now, the bad thing about this game is that if you set everything on low in-game, it doesn't actually affect every setting. For example, there's a couple of settings such as shader quality or shadow quality, which you cannot change in-game. For that, you actually have to go into your documents, into your Battlefield 4/settings/profile save_profile. .txt file or whatever file it is, and you just have to change some of the things. I'm gonna put my own profile in the description below, so you can basically just download it and copy paste or just use it as a whole, whatever you like. I'm running with this profile at about 60 to 70 frames per second. I do have a GTX 680 and i7 377K, but still I think that with the right settings you can run the game pretty smooth with pretty much anything. Now, the next thing that really bugged me was the weird mouse input lag, or the mouse acceleration. It just felt off. Compared to Battlefield 3, it just felt indirect. It just didn't feel right. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and I just felt like, oh man, it just aiming felt so weird. And thanks to Choppy, my good friend, I can now get rid of the weird mouse acceleration, and that actually is also something that you have to change in the prof save file, which is two values that you have to change from 1 to 0, which are like some GST input scheme, 0 sensitivity. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that does. But basically it felt like it added some weird mouse acceleration on top of your raw input. It's kind of weird because in Battlefield 4, of course, you can say that you want raw input, but still, if you do have those settings on 1, it still feels like you have some sort of mouse acceleration on top of your raw input, which kind of doesn't make sense, but whatever. If you change it to 0, it feels just like in Battlefield 3. Now, another pretty awesome tool that I found through Frankie on PC is called mousesensitivity.com, and there you can basically put in your current game, which is going to be Battlefield 3, how many centimeters it's going to take you to do a 360 in this old game, and what's going to be in your new game, and what's going to be the value that you're going to need to put in the new profile text file to get the exact same sensitivity in the new game that you had in Battlefield 3. Now, this is just an awesome way to get your sensitivity exactly from one game to another, and it doesn't really work with the in-game sensitivity slider because you can only change it in increments of 1%, and of course if you enter the real value you can basically be as accurate as you could possibly ever be. And this is just awesome. It makes your sensitivity go from Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4 to be exactly the same. It just feels right, and it's an awesome tool. Right, so after having set up Battlefield 4 for about an hour or so, you're finally able to go ahead and enjoy the game, to go in there and kick some ass, because now the game is in open beta, so there's a lot of noobs in there that have never played Battlefield before, and it really is a lot of fun to pwn them noobs. And as you can see in the background right here, I'm actually doing quite good. Even though I haven't played it for that long, I'm actually already feeling pretty comfortable, and I think the game is actually awesome. So now, of course, I want to give you a little bit of a first impression of the game. Of course, first of all, the graphics are absolutely stunning. I mean, they look just gorgeous. I mean, the fog, the particles, and everything, it's just... The game looks so much better than Battlefield 3, and it looks so much clearer. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's like Battlefield 3, it always looked like you were watching through blue glasses, and in Battlefield 4 it just looks clear, it looks nice, it looks real, it does look really, really nicely. And also another thing that I really, really like are the weapon sounds. They just sound so punchy and it's so direct, so lethal that I just want to go in there and kick some ass. It's just, the sounds of the guns are absolutely amazing. Next thing that I really, really like is the weapon balance. It feels like no gun is really, really superior over another one. There's no such thing as a god gun so far. Of course, there's only like 10 guns in the beta, but still, there's no really overpowered guns at all. And also, I really, really like that you can use DMRs and carbines and shotguns in all the classes, which just makes any class so much more viable, especially the sniper and the support class. If you want to just get unlocks for that class, you don't actually have to play with the sniper rifles. You can just go ahead and use some of the carbines and just kick ass. I mean, that's just awesome. Now also, I think that the recoil is rather manageable, and I really like how you can hit very, very long targets pretty easily. I got a lot of long range kills that I was like, oh my god, I actually hit that guy. And also in regard of that the hit markers are so smooth. It feels like you almost get the hit marker before you hit the guy. It feels like that. I mean, like, you're looking at him, you're like, oh, I'm gonna shoot, and already the hit marker's there. It's kind of funny, and it's just nice how they made it so smooth. Like in Battlefield 3, sometimes it was like, you shot at somebody, you ducked away, and all of a sudden you get a hit marker and a kill. And it's not at all like that in Battlefield 4. However, you can still get killed behind covers, which is kind of sad. But again, it's still a beta, and we didn't really expect the netcode to be changing that much, since it's still going to be server-side calculated, so it's not going to change that much, but I guess it's okay. Now, another thing that I really, really appreciated is that if you join a game that has already ended, so if you join the game and all you see is like your team lost, then this is actually not going to count as a loss or a win in your battle report, which in my opinion just makes sense. I mean, you haven't played the game, you have never spawned in, and it doesn't count as a loss. Now, DICE said that this was already the case with Battlefield 3, but I can assure you, I got so many losses by just joining a game and seeing like, your team lost, that I'm pretty sure it wasn't there, and I think it was just kind of an excuse from their side. Next cool feature, of course, is gonna be VoIP. Oh yeah! We can now finally communicate with our squad, even though they're not in TeamSpeak with us. We can actually play competitively or kind of tactically, which I really, really like. It made for so many awesome moments where you were like in VoIP, dude, there's a guy behind you, and he was like turning around, shooting him in the face. Oh, it's just so many awesome moments that you can now experience with the in-game VoIP that you just couldn't do in Battlefield 3 because it just didn't have that feature. Okay, so now I think I've said enough about the good things of Battlefield 4. I think it's time to get to the ugly or the bad things. Now, the first thing are gonna be tanks, and I still think that tanks in real life are not gonna slid across tarmac like a fucking ballerina. It just doesn't make fucking sense. When I turn around in the tank, it just slides all over the place, and it just doesn't feel like a freaking 50-ton machine. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why it does that, and I really, really hope that they're going to change vehicle physics still a little bit before launch, and I really, really hope that this is not going to be the case when the game launches, but we all know that they're probably not going to change too much, even though they said it's kind of an old version of the game that we're seeing here, but I still think it's probably going to be like this in the full game, which is kind of disappointing in my opinion. Having said that, I think it's also good that we can now drive over vehicles like parked cars, and the tank is not just gonna bounce around and just flip over or do crazy stuff like it did in Battlefield 3. You can actually just drive over a vehicle in Battlefield 4 and it does what it would do in real life. It would just crash the car, which just makes sense because the tank versus like a 1 or 2 ton car is probably gonna win, I guess. And last and very much my least favorite mechanic of Battlefield 4 is the kind of clunky mechanics of the whole, when you start running you first have to build up momentum thingy. I don't really like the whole making the game a little bit more realistic, less arcadey, less fast, and kind of more clunky. I really did like how it was in Battlefield 3, where when you were starting to run, you were running immediately. And in Battlefield 4, they kind of tried to mimic the whole thing that when you start running, you kind of have to build up momentum first, and just then you're gonna start running real fast. And I just don't like that mechanic at all, and it just feels kind of indirect and kind of clunky, and yeah, I just don't like this, but that's probably just my opinion. Alright, so other than that, I would like to tell you that I'm working on a video about aggressive sniping. I got a lot of awesome clips where I was just headshotting everybody and no scoping, quick scoping. That was pretty awesome. And also I'm working on a video at 60 FPS that I'm going to be uploading on creators cars pretty soon, which is pretty amazing because the game looks really nice at 60 FPS. Of course, it's only going to be recorded at 720p because my computer just couldn't take it at 1080p. Also with the game, it's just too much. But I really like how it looks, and you can definitely look forward to that. But now I'm definitely at the end of this video, and I'm also at the end of my own voice. As you could probably tell, I have a bad cold. I can hardly talk, and I have to cough and sneeze all the time. So yeah, I'm probably gonna end this video right here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a rating or a comment, as it is much appreciated. But as always, thanks for watching, have a good one, and until next time, cheers!